You're tuning in to Luminal on the Wall. Welcome. I'm your host, Becky, and joining me always is my co-host and beautiful sister, Bevy.
In our podcast, we will take a deep dive into the evil side of humanity. We will talk about suspicious deaths, shoddy investigations, and all the gory details in between.
But be warned, we will not hesitate to call BS when we hear it, which means you may not always agree with us, but we promise to lay out the evidence so you can come to your own conclusions based on what is presented.
Listeners' discretion is advised. Hey, Becky.
Oh, hey, Bev.
How's life?
Life's pretty good. It's actually, you know what? It's been good, but my last week has been pretty stressful. Got my dog neutered.
Ooh.
One, surgery's always a little stressful.
Of course.
Even though it's very routine.
Well, it didn't help that Rocky was refusing to get into the vet.
My God, it's so
You had to push him through the door, you said.
Yeah, he was so embarrassing. He's like he's such a big dog,
and he's afraid to walk through a door.
I mean, in his defense, he's only had scary things happen there.
Fair.
Or unfortunate things.
Yeah, so he gets a pass on that one.
But still super embarrassing.
Yeah.
Second, he jumps so much.
And he's not allowed.
He's not supposed to be jumping anywhere. Up until this point in his life, Bev, prior to neutering, I've maybe seen him jump over a couch 5 times.
Yeah, not many.
I swear within 24 hours.
Yo, tonight
alone, it was 3 times.
3 or 4. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
He had some zoomies.
You're not allowed to walk him, which I'm sure adds to his increased energy, but it's still insane.
Yeah, you try your best and just hope that his stitches don't bust open. So far, so good. But my God, is it a challenge?
I feel for you.
Yes. What about you, Bev? What is new in your life?
I went and saw the fireworks last night.
Ooh. Canada Day.
Yeah, that was nice. And of course, I watched Rocky last weekend, and we had a fabulous time.
Yeah, the picture showed it.
The picture showed it.
You spoiled the crap out of him, too.
Yeah, I gave him whipped cream.
How many treats did you buy, to go home with?
3.
3? He loved every single one?
Yes. Yeah, I took care of him. He's basically my little nephew.
Your dog nephew.
How do we have to make up a word for that? Like a dog nephew?
Dog few?
A dog foo? A dog foo?
Dog few.
A dog few. He's my dog few.
Sure.
So, of course, I had to. But yeah, he was really good, honestly. He was a joy to have, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Well, I probably will take you up on that at some point. But anyways, we have a radical story tonight. Should we get into it? All right, Bev.
Yes, we
Our
shall.
sources for today's story are the True Crime Document on YouTube, Episode 41, Murder of Cari Farver, ABC News, allthingsinteresting.com, rightrasta.com, and distractify.com.
Okay.
Bev, our story takes place in 2012. A man named Dave Kroupa was working at an auto repair shop in Omaha, Nebraska. For the first time in a long time, he was a single man. He had just separated from Amy Flora, who was his long-term girlfriend of 12 years. She also was the mother of his 2 children. Now, newly single Dave thought he would try his luck with online dating.
Uh-oh.
It was at this time he met a woman by the name of Liz Golyar. She was also a single mother of 2. Liz was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Now, growing up, Liz spent years in the foster care system, and then at the age of 18, she became a young mother to a sweet little boy who she named Cody. Unfortunately, the joy of becoming a mom was short-lived. Her son was shaken to death by her then boyfriend when he was just 5 months old.
Oh, no.
Thankfully, the boyfriend who was responsible for Cody's death pleaded guilty to the infant's death in 1999. He was sentenced to 8.5 years in prison. After the jury found her boyfriend guilty of her son's death, Liz packed up and moved to Omaha. It was there where Liz and Dave's paths crossed. They started casually dating. However, Dave made it very clear that he wasn't looking for anything serious, and he was still interested in seeing other people. As far as Dave could tell, it seemed that Liz was fine with this arrangement. Dave had been seeing Liz for about 6 months when this beautiful woman walks into the shop where he worked, looking to get some maintenance done on her Ford Explorer. Her name was Cari Farver. Now, Cari Farver was born November 30th, 1974 in Loa, California. Cari was very close with her mother, Nancy, who she talked to every single day. She was also a devoted single mother to a 14-year-old boy named Max. She was a computer programmer, and she had landed her dream job in Omaha. And she felt as though she was on the right path in life. Her friends and family said she was warm and vivacious and would light up any room she walked into. In her 20s, Cari had actually been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and had struggled with her medication. But in 2012, when she walked into the shop where Dave worked, she was in a really good place. When Dave noticed her enter the shop, he was totally caught off guard by their immediate connection. He said that he felt a spark when they looked at each other, and that when Cari was showing him her car, they were standing super close side by side, and they could just feel the sexual tension between them.
Ooh, nice.
Despite Dave's palpable attraction to Cari, he didn't ask her out. But as fate would have it, he stumbled across Cari's profile on an online dating site, so he asked her out.
Nice. Oh my gosh, meant to be.
It was. And on their first date, they immediately connected. Things went so smoothly at dinner, they ended up back at Dave's place.
Ooh.
Things were going so well that Cari felt that she needed to be honest with Dave and told him she wasn't looking for something serious because she wanted to focus on her son and her career.
Good for her.
Totally. Hearing this, Dave felt like he totally hit the jackpot. After all, that's exactly what he wanted as well.
Well, no kidding. They're both like, we're down for casual, sexy relationship type thing. However, I'm like thinking about Liz. That would be hard for any woman, I would think, because
I don't know. Seeing each other for 6 months.
6 months. I know. I was going to say that's a long time to just be casually seeing someone and then all of a sudden just find somebody else. Anyways, that's weird. I hate casual relationships. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Just saying. Not a
Bev's
fan.
not a fan. So don't try.
I'm a long-term type of gal.
Now, after that first date, as Cari was leaving Dave's apartment, she actually walked right past Liz in the hallway. Liz was there hoping to grab some of her stuff from Dave's apartment, and just so happened to do so as Dave's other woman was leaving.
Ooh, yikes.
This encounter, although only lasting seconds, would have a lasting effect on Dave's, Cari's, and Liz's lives. Over the next couple weeks, Dave and Cari got to know each other. They became smitten with each other and were seeing a lot more of one another. Dave even offered to let Cari stay over at his place because it was closer to her office.
Ooh.
She was working on some big projects at work, and it was way more convenient for her as she lived about an hour away in Macedonia, Iowa. Cari had arranged for her son to stay with his grandma, her mother, while she stayed at Dave's and finished her work project. On the morning of November 13th, 2012, Dave gave Cari a goodbye smooch before he headed off to work. Now, this is where things get a little freaky-deaky.
A little cray-cray?
Yeah. Mid-morning, Dave receives a really weird text from Cari saying she wanted them to move in together. He was so puzzled because they had talked about keeping it casual.
No kidding.
And moving in with each other was definitely not keeping it casual.
And that's so random. They're having this great time, so smitten, and then all of a sudden she's just like, over a text, no less, let's move in together. You think that would be a conversation if you did want to do so, that you would have in person?
Oh, for sure.
That's wild.
Yeah. So he responded to her saying he wasn't interested in living with her or anyone for that matter.
Of course.
Almost immediately, Cari began responding with comments such as, I hate you.
What?
I'm dating someone else. I don't want to see you anymore.
Random AF.
Mm-hmm. There was also a lot of profanity in these texts, and they continued to escalate.
Wow.
Dave didn't really know what to think.
No kidding.
Yeah, like he just spent the last 2 weeks getting to know this wonderful woman who...
And liked her enough that he was like, stay at my home to make your life more convenient while you're busy at work. She seems pretty like level-headed. She seems on the same page as him.
Mm-hmm.
Super odd.
Exactly. He was again taken off guard and was left wondering what had caused this sudden change.
Yeah.
So just as quickly as their steamy relationship began, it was over.
Whoa.
After that, Dave assumed he would never hear from Cari again. So, of course, Dave didn't know this, but he was not the only one who received these out-of-character texts. Cari's son and mother did as well. Cari had told them she got a job in Kansas and would follow up with them to schedule a time to pick up her son.
What? She just got her dream job, though. She's just gonna up and leave? That makes no sense.
I know.
Something is afoot, Rebecca.
Something is afoot. However, that was the last they heard from Cari for a while. The real red flags came later when Cari missed her own and her son's birthday, her father's funeral.
What?
And her half-brother's wedding.
No.
And Thanksgiving.
Wild. No.
Cari's mother, who she talked to every day, was rightfully concerned.
Yeah.
She would text Cari asking her to call so that she could hear her voice, but she was met with an onslaught of venomous texts from her daughter telling her how terrible of a mother she was, how selfish. So her family was really worried about her and reported it to the police.
Well, yeah, they're like, this is not sounding like my daughter. Obviously, you told me that Cari and her mom talk every day. Doesn't really make sense that she's all of a sudden like, you're a terrible mother. She landed her dream job. Now she's moving away. Misses really important events.
Completely out of character for this lady. So apparently, Bev, the police attempted to contact her, but they were met with messages from her asking them to leave her alone. The police and family thought she may have stopped taking her meds again.
Oh, yeah.
And so it wasn't completely outrageous that she might be behaving this way.
Yeah, she might be going through, like, having a episode from her bipolar, potentially.
So the police didn't dig any deeper. They kind of just respected that she wanted to.
Well, that's fair. They heard back from her. Like, what are you going to do? It's not like she's committing a crime, right? She just wants to be left alone. So
they're going to do what she wishes.
Respect her wishes. Yeah.
Absolutely. However, 6 months from when Cari had first informed her family that she had moved, her son reached out to his mother with 3 questions. He was absolutely just so desperate to find answers as to why his mom had abandoned him and wanted proof that the person who had texted those vicious messages was his mom, in fact.
Right, because he's like, this is so not like the mom I know.
Yeah.
So he's like, I want some answers.
Exactly.
Poor guy. He's left without his mom for 6 months. Like, that's... And they were close, too, right? So it's just... He's, 1, mourning the loss of his mom in his life. And 2, like, she's being mean.
Yeah, he's probably feeling a bit rejected.
Fudge? Yeah.
So question 1 was, what was his middle name?
Aw.
Question 2, the name of their first pet. And 3, the name of his best friend. However, it was radio silence. Cari never answered him. So,
oh my gosh, that seems suspicious, Becky.
Oh yeah, like even if she was having an episode or whatever you want to call it, even if she was going through something with her meds or I don't know too much about it, but if she was really even going through something, you think she would actually still want her son to feel loved?
Yeah, no kidding. And also, alarm bells are kind of ringing for me at this point because she can respond to every other message with venomous hate, but then her son asks her questions that she should know the answer to, and she says nothing. Like, to me, I'm like,
Say what?
Interesting.
Yeah, put that one on the chalkboard and note it for later.
Exactly.
So, Cari's family is obviously very suspicious.
Right.
Dave, on the other hand, carries on with his life thinking he dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I mean, this woman just, like,
went off the deep end.
Yeah, on him.
So he continues to see Liz. However, same as before, Dave just wanted a casual relationship. He still wanted to see other people and continued chatting online too. However, over the next couple of months, Dave and Liz would start getting closer to one another and bonding through the experience of shared traumatic events. They both were being berated by threatening texts and emails from Cari. With the ongoing texts that he received from Cari, it became obvious to Dave that he and Liz were being stalked by his ex-lover.
Oh my gosh.
In one instance, Dave had received a text while relaxing at home that said, "I see you. You're sitting in a chair with your feet propped up, wearing a blue shirt." The text wasn't wrong.
Whoa.
Like, how creepy is that?
Super creepy.
In January of 2013, just a couple months later, Dave was on his way home from work when he noticed Cari's Ford Explorer in a nearby parking lot. Now remember, he did some maintenance on it, so he's very familiar.
He knows what it looks like. No, that's fair.
Yeah, knows the license plate. He knows whose car this is. He took a photo of the license plate and called the police. The police came and searched the vehicle. They found one single fingerprint on a mint container that did not match Cari or anyone on the FBI database. So the lead...
What?
Yeah, just one fingerprint.
Which is weird enough that there's only one fingerprint, right?
Oh, yeah, you would
my
think there'd be like a million.
Would be all over my vehicle.
Yeah.
Right? And then the one they find is not hers. So who the fuck's is it?
Well, exactly, right? Whose is it?
Huh.
So because there weren't any leads through the FBI database, this lead actually went cold.
Makes sense.
But kind of like how you're surprised, it adds some mystery to the story. Because if not Cari's fingerprint, then whose?
Yes, exactly. I want to know.
In the months after the police searched Cari's vehicle, Dave and Liz hung out together often and would get disturbing texts at the exact same time. Their phones would start going off with multiple hateful and aggressive texts and emails from Cari.
Is this because, like, you wonder... Did Cari get insanely jealous over Liz seeing her in the hallway and knowing that
she wasn't the only woman in Dave's life, maybe? It's hard to say.
It is hard to say.
Cari's texts were becoming more vile and disturbing. At one point, Cari had sent an email to Dave with a photo of a woman who looked like Liz, tied up in the trunk of a car with a message that threatened to kill Liz.
What?
That would be so disturbing to get.
Yeah, no kidding. So you just think that your girlfriend or the girl you're seeing's life is in danger, right?
Well, exactly.
Like, she's threatening somebody's life, basically.
Yeah, so he's obviously concerned.
Right.
So after receiving that email, Dave called Liz just to make sure she was all right.
Good man.
And she was.
Thank God.
Later, Cari sent Dave a fake obituary of Liz. Like, it's getting twisted now, Bev. Like,
yeah,
who
it's
does
like
that?
Personal, too.
Mm-hmm. So in August of that year, things escalate to a new dangerous height. Liz Golyar's house caught on fire. The fire investigator figures out that it was arson.
No way.
Yes. Liz lost her 2 dogs,
No.
a cat, and a snake in that fire.
Oh my gosh. Whoa. Side note, we have every single one of those animals as pets.
I know. Like,
that's wild.
Oh, God.
Becky has a dog. I have 2 cats, and I have a snake. Crazy.
That is insane.
Mm-hmm. But still, oh my gosh, she lost her pets in the fire?
4 of
I
them,
would be
too.
devastated, bro.
It's not just like, hey, I'm burning your house down. It's like, I'm burning your house down and taking your pets with me. So, according to everyone there was only one person that could be responsible. Cari Farver.
Right, because you're like, you have sent photos threatening Liz's life, basically. A fake obituary. You've burned her house down, killed her pets. Like, you're out for blood.
Yeah, like, what's next, right?
What is next?
Hey. With things becoming increasingly violent, Dave had become so fearful and paranoid.
No kidding.
That he actually purchased a gun for protection.
Yikes.
One
That's
night,
sad when it gets to that point, right?
When you feel like, yeah, like your life could be in danger, so you need a gun.
Scary.
Ugh, I couldn't imagine, actually. Like,
no, I couldn't imagine either.
So, one night, Dave had a female friend over. It wasn't Liz, just a long-term friend. And while they were chatting, they actually heard his front door handle rattling from the outside.
No.
Creepy. Later that same evening, while Dave and the woman were going to bed, a brick was thrown through his window.
What?
On another occasion, the shop where Dave worked was broken into and vandalized.
This is insane. Why is someone doing this to him? Like, someone almost breaks into your home where you hear the doorknob rattling. I would be shitting my pants.
Oh, I would be just, like, living in fear. I don't know how I'd actually cope with my life.
Yeah.
If that was the case.
No. Being on edge, anxiety-ridden constantly.
And from the sounds of it, Dave was. So not only had he and Liz been victims of Cari's online harassment, but the harassment was actually starting to bleed into other aspects of his life.
Yeah, like his job.
his
which
job.
is like super dangerous, and that's again like your livelihood. Maybe your bosses don't want to deal with that crap.
You could be a liability, that's
Could
for
be.
darn sure.
Ugh.
Also, the mother of his children, Amy Flora, had been receiving menacing messages from Cari as well. It seemed that anything and everything in Dave's life was fair game for her. The police in 2 different states were wanting to speak with Cari, both for different reasons. In Nebraska, she was being looked at for stalking, arson, harassment. But in Iowa, she was a missing person.
In Iowa, is that where her family lived? Of course.
Yeah. So they're concerned where she is, not hearing from her, or
Missing important events.
and talking to someone that just doesn't seem like
Her.
Cari.
You know, I do have to say, it does feel a little extreme to completely abandon your family for a guy, basically, that you met for 2 weeks. Like, you abandon your family to harass a man and every woman in his life that you met for 2 weeks. And it's not like he ended the relationship with you. He was pretty invested, actually, like asking you to spend the night at his home. So, I don't know. It does seem...
Something's missing.
Something's missing.
It's
just not right.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So in 2015, 3 years after Cari was last seen alive, her case as a missing person was cold by that point. That's when detectives Avis and Doty came in the picture. They were intrigued by the case. And Bev, they think the exact same thing that we're thinking. How can a devoted mother drop off the face of the earth, pretty much, and only be heard from via text, email, Facebook, but not seem like herself? Like, how can that be?
Yeah, and this is over months.
Years.
Years? Oh, yeah, years. Oh, my gosh. This is over years. And she hasn't even given a crap to check in on her family, but she's obsessed with, like, harassing this man and woman's. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I'm glad they're on the job.
Exactly.
Because...
Well, they're about to crack it.
Answers.
They're going to crack it wide open, Bev.
Ooh, crack it open for me.
The 2 detectives asked to take a look at the case. Like, they asked their superiors if that would be okay.
Like, reopen it.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
One detective tried... So this is how they went about it. One detective tried to prove that Cari was still alive.
Right.
While the other one tried to prove that she was dead.
I like that technique.
Right?
Yeah, that's
like,
cool.
Let's see which one makes more sense.
Yeah, let's see which one we get more evidence for. Or,
see where it goes. Between the 2 detectives, they were unable to prove that she was still alive. But they also had no concrete evidence that she was dead.
Right.
So they're kind of in this weird, like, middle ground.
Yeah.
However, there is circumstantial information that has them leaning to more of the side that she might not be alive.
Because she, one, hasn't been seen by literally any of her loved ones in years. And her texts seem uncharacteristic. And she doesn't really have a strong motive to be harassing these people. Like, look at me, I'm a detective.
Look at you. But Bev, you missed one crucial detail.
Oh, dang it. What?
Her bank account had not been touched since she went missing.
Oh my gosh. That
makes
me think for sure she is, like, not alive.
Yeah.
Whoa.
She didn't even take cash out.
That makes no sense.
No.
Unless she had a stash of millions somewhere in a cave.
And we know she did not.
Yeah, so that is... Oh, no.
And like you said, no one had actually seen her alive or talked to her on the phone and could confirm, yes, that is Cari.
Right.
What really stood out as weird to the detectives was Liz Golyar. According to Dave, Cari and Liz had crossed paths one time.
Right, in the hallway.
Yeah, maybe for 10 seconds. And it seemed as though Cari was completely unfazed by Liz.
That's what Dave says.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So how and or why was Liz at the center of Cari's harassment?
That's a good point.
Like
that's such a good point. That's what I was saying. She doesn't really have motive to be doing this. She wanted a casual relationship, which also, one, makes sense why she was unfazed seeing Liz. And, like, it's so true. Why was Liz at the center of it? Like, you sent a fake obituary, you sent a photo of her tied up, and all of this weird crap. You're like, why?
Yeah, even if for some strange reason, if Cari was, like, somehow really jealous, why go to this extreme state of like burning her house down, killing her animals. You know, like it just, again, something is missing.
Something's missing.
And it's making it not make sense.
Yeah.
So because of all this information, the detectives were leaning towards the theory that Cari might not even be alive. And if she wasn't alive, then that begs the question, who had been sending the thousands upon thousands of nasty and vile texts and emails over the last 3 years?
No doubt.
Mm-hmm. So the detectives had a digital forensic investigator look over the case to try and figure out answers to that question. During their investigation, Liz had actually given her phone to the police to look at, and when the investigators looked through her photos, they noticed a photo of Cari's Ford Explorer. This alone wasn't that suspicious because Dave had spotted the Ford Explorer in a parking lot months prior, so
Right.
It wouldn't be out of the question that Liz had a photo of it.
Fair.
However, based on the photo's metadata, the photo was actually taken about a month before the police were notified of its whereabouts by Dave.
No.
Yes. How did Liz know where her car was before the police?
No kidding.
Her phone also showed 6 calls to Cari's residence using the *67 feature to hide her number.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone doesn't know in this day and age, now we can just block our numbers. But back in the day, if you wanted to block your call, you had to dial *67 first.
Mm-hmm. Sneaky, sneaky.
Whoa. One, like, how did she even have their number to the residence? Like, why the hell is she calling her family? No, Becky.
So this didn't make sense to the investigators
Yeah.
either because Liz had told them they didn't know each other.
Oh my gosh.
On her phone, they also found the photo that Dave was sent of the woman who looked like Liz, who was tied up in the trunk of a car.
Oh my God.
The metadata on that picture told the police that the photo was taken from Liz's phone.
No, it wasn't.
And to really put the notch in her coffin, the photo was actually of Liz.
What?
Yes. What the fuck, right?
What the fuck?
At this moment, the detectives felt that Cari did not go missing on her own accord.
Oh my gosh, no.
They really felt that something horrible had happened to her.
Yeah, like she was murdered by Liz.
You're calling it right now.
What?
Yeah. Like, oh God, so creepy. Imagine them scrolling. You think you're not going to find anything, and then all of a sudden you see that and you're like,
Holy shit.
it's real. Oh my God. And that's Liz.
I was thinking that 10-second encounter in the hallway could have sparked jealousy within Cari, but no, Becky. Liz. It was Liz.
Well, don't ruin it for the viewers, Bev.
Oh. if like I'm ruining it, the evidence is pointing towards this.
Everyone can come to the same conclusion.
Holy crap.
So things really began making more sense to the detectives and you, Bev, after finding the photo evidence on Liz's phone, as it wasn't even the first piece of evidence they found against Liz Golyar. When the detectives had initially began looking into the missing person case for Cari, they had reached out to Nancy, Cari's mother,
Right.
to let her know that they were, 1, looking into her daughter's case,
Mm-hmm.
and 2, to let her know that they didn't believe she just left and abandoned her family.
Yeah, give them some peace about that.
Exactly. So during this conversation, Nancy had told the detectives about a photo she received via text message from Cari of a check. Cari had sold all her furniture and wanted her mom to let the buyer into her home so they could pick it up. The check was signed by Shanna Golyar, which the detectives quickly found out was Liz's first name.
What? No, Becky.
Yes. So why would her name be on a check sent to Cari's mom when Cari and Liz don't know each other and they had that ever so brief encounter? And also when Cari is apparently harassing Liz, why would she do that?
No kidding. What this tells me is that Liz sold Cari's furniture.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
Holy shit is right. All of the concerning information the detectives have received have pointed them towards Liz.
Of course.
So the detectives take their chances and send in that singular fingerprint that was found on the mint case.
No.
Yes. On that mint case in Carrie's car.
Let me guess. It was Liz's.
Bev, it was.
Holy crap.
Yes, it came back as a match. And again, begs the question, why? Why would her print be in Carrie's car?
Yeah.
Liz is constantly saying, I don't know her. Mm-hmm. I saw her in a hall.
That's it.
Otherwise, I have no other interaction, no nothing else.
But now we have your print in her vehicle, a picture of her vehicle in your phone before police had ever seen it, and Dave. So was Liz the one who put it in that parking lot? It's like we can only assume that at this point, right?
Yes.
All the evidence is pointing towards it.
Exactly. So at this point, Bev, the detectives decide to tell Dave about these revelations and tell him that they believe Liz may be behind all the harassing messages.
Wow. Could you imagine what he's thinking? Like,
he's probably like, no way.
No way.
No, she's...
Like, it's been going on for 3 years.
Her. Yeah. We've
both been getting harassing messages. Her life was threatened. Oh.
Exactly. So Dave takes a look at all the evidence that the detectives present to him, and he's forced to confront the fact that a woman he had become so close with and let into his life may have done something really terrible to Cari. Up until the detectives spoke with Dave, he did not believe Liz was involved with the harassment that was seemingly happening to both of them, and definitely didn't think she had anything to do with the disappearance of Cari.
Well, no kidding. I mean, her life, again, was like threatened. And if we all can look back, her house was burned down and her cats and dog and snake were killed in that fire as well. Like, why would he ever? He's looking at all of that going, why? There's no way.
She wouldn't do that to herself.
Yeah. Or him.
Yeah, exactly. So
wild.
With all the evidence and suspicions of the detectives, Dave started to see a whole different picture. With all of this information about Liz looming, it came as a complete shock to the police when Liz, in December of that year, walks into the police station. And get this, she was trying to file harassment charges against Cari Farver again.
Oh my gosh.
Once she left the police station, Detective Avis went to her house to follow up with her and see if he could get any more information out of her. Even though he had been investigating this case already and had some pretty damning evidence against Liz, he played dumb so that she would let her guard down.
Good.
Liz told Detective Avis that she had come to the realization that the person harassing her and threatening her may not have been Cari Farver all along, but a woman named Amy Flora.
The mother of Dave's children.
Yes.
What? That makes no sense. Wasn't she getting messages directly from Cari's phone?
Yes.
So how the hell, like, Amy and Cari have no idea who each other are at this point, or ever knew who each other were.
I mean, not that I'm aware.
But like, come on.
They never met. That's for darn sure.
That seems like she's grabbing at straws at this point. Like, she's using Amy as a scapegoat right now to be like, oh, my plan to accuse Cari is kind of falling apart. I'm getting questioned. So let me panic. Let me change gears and go over to Amy.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck?
So, I mean, after hearing that, Detective Avis again asks Liz if they can download the information from her phone.
Right.
So they're seeing this information again. So he downloads it, and she willingly actually hands over her phone.
Right.
Not knowing that the police can literally download everything, even deleted files.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Of course.
Another, like, deleted documents. Files. Oh my gosh.
It would take a while to get any information from those files because it requires a lot of man hours to sort through all the files, the photos, texts, emails, everything. So while detectives were waiting to hear back from the technician, they got a call from Dave, and he was letting them know that the gun that he bought for security had been stolen. Obviously, given the circumstances, Bev, of all his harassment and stalking over the last 3 years, this was very concerning.
Yeah.
And it lends itself to the question, who has that gun and whose life is in danger now?
No kidding.
Days after the gun was stolen on December 5th, 2015, a frantic 911 call was made by a woman. She had just been shot in the leg at Big Lake Park in Iowa. The woman was, guess who, Beth? Liz.
Holy cannoli.
Yes, she was bleeding on the walking path in the park. She said she had been walking to clear her head and was halfway on the bridge when she was approached from the rear by a woman who said, "How do you like fucking Dave?"
What?
And then forced her to lay on the ground and shot her in the thigh.
What?
It sounds outrageous, right?
Yeah, it totally sounds made up.
It sounds just totally jacked up. Also, if you're going to shoot someone, why just shoot them in the leg?
Yeah.
I know that sounds really sinister,
but why go through all the effort
like,
of coming up on their rear and then just get on the ground, let me shoot you in the leg and run away? It's like, now they've seen your face. This person can just tell the cops, like, this person, I know what they look like, shot me.
Exactly.
That's wild.
I know. Like, kind of on top of it, Liz didn't suffer any permanent damage.
Right.
But there was a lot of blood. And she was rushed to the hospital. Mm-hmm. Liz's initial story was that she had no idea who shot her, but quickly changed her tune and placed the blame on Amy Flora.
Oh my God.
Poor Amy.
Poor Amy. And how convenient that you were just telling the detective that instead of suspecting Cari as being the cause of all the harassment, that now it's Amy, and then all of a sudden
she shoots you.
She shoots you.
I know, it sounds bogus.
Are you trying to create some evidence against her?
What
are you doing, Liz?
Exactly. So, same as you and me, the investigators found the story really odd and unbelievable.
Yeah.
If someone was going... It's funny. It's literally what you just said. If someone was going to go through the effort of stalking and attacking Liz from behind, why only shoot her in the leg?
Yes. Why?
What was even more fishy was that the day before, when Liz was talking to Detective Avis, she actually made sure to tell him about Dave's stolen gun and that she suspected Amy Flora. And then, bam, within 24 hours, she herself had been shot and by Amy Flora nonetheless.
No, Becky.
Yeah. I know. Outrageous.
Yeah.
It's like comical how stupid.
Hence the reason I'm laughing.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
It's obviously concerning all around, but freaking ridiculous. Fortunately, the detectives did their due diligence and followed up with Amy. And she had an airtight alibi for that evening.
Lord, right?
Yeah. She was very quickly and surely ruled out as a shooter.
Oh my gosh.
The detectives also could not find any information proving that anyone else was even there with Liz.
Don't tell me. Did she shoot herself in the leg?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Could she have possibly stolen the gun herself and inflicted that wound trying to frame Amy? Sounds far-fetched, but not really with this evidence.
It would also explain why she got shot in the leg.
Exactly.
And not, like, killed.
I mean, you know, if I put myself in Liz's shoes and I was like, you know what, I want to frame someone for attempting to murder me, I'd probably shoot my leg too.
Yeah.
It's easy to get. I could probably avoid the bone.
Yourself.
Yeah. Oh, right man. Someone shot my leg.
But, like, also, how, like, this is a whole nother level. You're gonna shoot yourself to frame somebody. That is
extreme. Well, exactly. So when you kind of just take a step back, look at that. If I were to just hear that out of nowhere, I'd be like, is this story just far-fetched and could she have gotten shot in? Because who the fuck would shoot themselves?
Exactly.
Like, so it almost like, it's so extreme that you're like, no.
Could it be real?
It must be someone else. Like,
yeah, like,
there's no way.
No way.
This is when investigators say that Dave finally sees the whole picture and realizes that it's been Liz the whole time.
Holy shit.
Yes. He realizes that she is constantly the victim of Cari's wrath.
Right.
And now Amy's. And is just her sick and twisted way for his attention. Liz wants Dave to herself and is jealous of any woman in Dave's life.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All of this because a 10-second encounter in a hallway.
That's all it took, 10 seconds. That's what she said. Oh my God. I've been watching The Office like way too much.
Epic. Go on, Michael. Continue.
Yes. Over the next
Did you miss what I said?
I
and
heard
then
it.
after a while, you're like, it clicked.
Yeah.
Nice.
Over the next year, thousands of hours are put into figuring out Liz Golyar's digital history.
Right.
And what they eventually find is astonishing. They find approximately 30 different email addresses that are all variations of Cari Farver's name that are all in some way traced back to Liz.
No way.
There is an excess of 15,000 emails sent from all of the 30 emails, and there's over 50,000 text messages. They had lots of evidence proving it was Liz this whole time.
Whoa.
They were able to track everything related to Cari back to Liz, whether it was an account she made from her device, her home address, her IP address. Thousands upon thousands of emails, texts, and social media messages and posts could all be traced back to Liz.
That's insane.
So much.
Like, that is a full-time job. I can't even text friends back in a timely manner, let alone send thousands and thousands of texts over years to make this
Story plausible?
I
know, it's so messed up.
Messed up.
What they also found in their investigation, Bev, was Liz was using an app that would allow her to schedule text messages to be sent at a later time, accounting for the harassing messages her and Dave got when they were together. So she thought of, I don't want to, well, not quite everything, but she thought of everything until the investigators.
That's
really tracked it
totally
down.
manipulative. Dave was thinking that you two were going through this traumatic experience together where you're both getting harassed, you're threatened, by this vicious woman.
Mm-hmm.
And here it is, you're scheduling text messages to come through at a certain time.
Yeah.
So you're harassing this man. You're the wolf in sheep's clothing.
Exactly. So because, it was smart initially to deceive everyone, right?
Yeah.
So by doing this, it did allow her to float under the radar for a pretty long time.
Yeah, like you said, years.
So it's estimated that over the 3 years, she spent approximately 40 to 50 hours a week stalking and pretending to be Cari online.
Yeah, it was like her full-time job.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So all this evidence is really starting to build a case against Liz.
Mm-hmm.
However, the detectives still didn't have Cari's body, and they only had circumstantial evidence that she was dead.
Right.
As most of the evidence proved nothing other than Liz was a jealous person who stalked and harassed people in Dave's life. So the police needed to get more evidence. So they decided to bring Liz into the police station and tell her they found Cari's remains.
Good.
So the detectives indicated to Liz that yes, they were Cari's remains, and at that point they asked Liz about Cari. Liz reiterated that she didn't really know Cari well, but when the detectives asked if she knew anyone that would want to hurt Cari,
oh my gosh,
Liz said that Amy, being a person who was in and out of Dave's life and could be jealous and possessive of him, that she may have the motive to do something to Cari.
Oh, do you mean Amy or yourself, Liz?
Yeah, you're telling the right story, just wrong person.
Yeah.
Detectives are not buying this, but they need Liz to believe that they think that Amy is involved.
Of course.
They need it so that she'll continue talking to them and let her guard down. So they tell Liz, we need your help. If Amy were to mention anything about the crime to Liz, could she tell the detectives and pass along any messages?
Ooh.
We know that with Liz trying to implicate Amy, that she wants her out of the picture. So
right.
With that, the detectives sit back and wait, hoping Liz will incriminate herself.
Yay. Oh my gosh. I'm sure she'll sing.
Yes, of course, this is a trap. And Liz fell right into it.
Woo! Yeah.
Mere days. That is all it took, Bev.
Mere days?
Days.
Holy cannoli,
I know.
Rebecca.
Yeah. Liz sent detectives emails she had gotten from Amy, and also, why are her and Amy conversing?
Yeah.
On top of it.
Why did she feel the need to do that? Why is she doing this?
Yeah,
she's so desperate. For
Beverly.
Dave to be all hers.
Mm-hmm.
This is wild. How is she not seeing this as a trap? I guess we have the
The outside knowledge.
Oh, the outside knowledge. She doesn't. She thinks that the cops are totally believing her. So she's like, let's keep going with this ruse.
Yes, let me help you. Anyways, Liz sent detectives emails she had gotten from Amy. And I kid you not, the subject heading was, I shot you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just the heading alone is like, oh, okay.
She's
shot you.
She's gonna just like tell you.
I shot you, bitch. And Bev, the email wasn't too far off from the subject title. The email said, I shot you, Liz, to make sure Dave stayed away from you. I got rid of the gun. But the detectives called Liz and told her what they really needed were details about the crime against Cari. They said if she felt comfortable, she could email her back. And a few days later, detectives got more emails from Liz. They were apparently from Amy and said, when I first met Crazy Cari, she would not stop talking about Dave and him being her husband. She tried to attack me, but I attacked her with a knife. I stabbed her 3 or 4 times in the chest and stomach area. I then took her out and burned her body in a garbage can with crap.
What the fuck?
I know, right?
One, I'm just like, okay, Liz, are you dumb? Are you dumb? Why is she going to confess to a murder to you if she is so mad at you? She wants you dead or wants to shoot you. She's not going to just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, like, do you think this conversation
email
should be normal? Because it's not.
Yeah,
You're
what
not
are you
friends.
thinking?
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
So with these new emails from Liz, the detectives now believe that they are receiving true details about the crime against Cari.
Of course.
But
sounds like it.
Yeah. But they now need more physical evidence. So they decide to exploit Liz's jealousy. Yes.
Go detectives.
They are crafty.
Yeah, they are.
They convinced Dave to actually move in with Amy because they know Liz's worst fear is to lose Dave.
Yeah, clearly.
Bev, this works magically. Liz calls detectives, bawling her eyes out. She's pissed off that Amy isn't in jail because she confessed this crime.
Yeah, she's like, why didn't you put her in jail? Now it's
not fair.
Now she's with my man.
Exactly. And
oh my gosh.
She's living with Dave. She's getting away with everything. The detectives explain the process is hard, but they need more specific stuff that only the killer would know.
Right.
More Amy confession emails started flooding in.
Oh my gosh.
Flooding in.
No.
One saying, I really did kill Cari. And I did it in her own car.
Oh.
Bingo. This is what the detectives needed. They now have a potential crime scene. So the police go and check Cari's car again. They end up pulling the fabric off the passenger front seat and it was stained with blood.
No.
Yes, they found it. The blood was sent off for testing and it was confirmed
to be Cari's.
Oh,
that is one sad. It's bittersweet. Because you're like, I'm so happy they have that physical evidence, but so sad that now we know
she's dead.
Cari is dead. Oh.
At this point, Detective Avis and Doty prepare to confront Liz with all the evidence. They get a search warrant for her home and call in cold case homicide investigators Detective Schneider from Omaha to arrest Liz on an outstanding warrant for an unpaid traffic ticket. It's always the traffic tickets. It's always the warrants.
Yeah, if you plan on murdering someone, guys, pay off your traffic tickets.
At least do that.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, like, hello.
So they called in other detectives because they were not from that state. Is that what it was?
Correct. They were, so Detective Avis and Doty were from Iowa.
Right.
But the crime happened in Nebraska.
Right.
So
they can't. Jurisdiction, they can't, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Obviously, the real reason behind the arrest was related to Cari Farver.
Yes.
Once in custody, the detectives began questioning her. They wanted to know why Cari's phone was at Liz's house right after she disappeared, why her fingerprints were in the car, and why the email sent under Cari's name came back to Liz's IP address. Detectives also informed her that they know the Amy emails were made by her. The name of the game for Liz was deny, deny, deny.
Deny till you die, baby.
That's right.
Whoa. Even with all that evidence stacked against her, she's just like, nope, not me.
It wasn't my IP address.
She's probably still like, it was Amy, I'm telling you,
Amy. Yeah, she just denied knowing Cari, knowing anything about her life. and doesn't know why her phone was there. Like, I kid you not, I've never heard someone so blatantly deny. Like, she was adamant. If I didn't know the evidence the detectives had.
Yeah, you'd be like, maybe she didn't.
Yeah, she's pretty adamant.
She's pretty adamant about it.
Like, it was very intense. She maintained, in fact, that she was the victim and that she didn't do anything regardless of the evidence they had.
Wow.
At that point, she requested an attorney. So we know that interview halts right there. While this interrogation was going on, Liz's house was being searched.
Right.
They had found a digital camera and a camcorder that belonged to Cari.
Ugh.
On those devices, a video was made by Cari because her Ford Explorer was actually spray painted and she was showing the vandalism. This video was made 2 days before she disappeared.
Oh my gosh.
The police believed that it was Liz who had done the vandalizing.
That was the first.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first attack.
This all was enough for an arrest warrant against Liz for first-degree murder.
Amen.
The detectives were still a little bit worried as to how a jury might see Liz and the case, because at the end of the day, it's hard for anyone to fathom that an individual would choose to shoot herself in the leg, cause a fire in their own home that killed their dogs, cats, and snakes.
Right.
All just to maintain this story.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about the fire. Who does that?
Yeah. To add to their worry, Liz hired James Martin Davis, who is a legendary defense attorney, to represent her.
Uh-oh.
He attempted to have the trial pushed up so that the detectives had less time to get more evidence, such as a body or a murder weapon, knowing that without those things, he had a better chance for his client.
Of course.
With enormous pressure, detectives went back to Dave with a last-ditch effort for anything they may have missed. Out of the blue, Dave told them he had a tablet in storage for the past couple years. For some reason, he hadn't even thought of it. It didn't even cross his mind. But for some reason, it did in this moment. So when detectives got it, there was a micro SD card inside. This SD card just so happened to have been Liz's.
No way.
Yes. Like, what? How?
What? As fate would have it, Rebecca.
Don't get too excited. It was blank.
What?
However, Bev, there were thousands of deleted photos.
Oh my gosh, deleted files for the win.
Yes. Mostly, these files included normal photos. Anyone would take selfies, views, whatever, all that fun stuff.
Right.
But they came across one photo no one had ever seen before. It was kind of reddish in color, and it took a moment before investigators realized what it was.
What was it?
It was a decomposing foot with a tattoo on it.
What?
Whose foot was this?
We have to know it's Cari's.
It is, yes.
No.
They were able to identify the tattoo because it was a Chinese symbol for mother.
Oh.
And it was the exact same tattoo Cari Farver had on her foot.
Oh my gosh. See, she would have never abandoned her son.
She never would have.
Ugh.
In the documentary, they kind of found it interesting that she was so proud to be a mother and she had such a close relationship with her mother.
Yeah.
That the tattoo was
what?
Like a weird symbol that kind of solidified this case in proving.
It's like as fate would have it.
Exactly.
This case. Oh my gosh. Also, I'm curious as to why the fudge she had a photo of that at all.
I know,
why did she take a photo of that? That makes me feel like she is
like proud
of the crime she committed. Like, she's sick and twisted. Like, is that a little trophy she kept for her own?
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what the detective said. Like, oh, look at me, look what I did.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
This was the exact kind of evidence they needed to make a really strong case against Liz.
Right.
The detectives literally had a photo of Cari's decomposing foot on Liz's old SD card.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. In May 2017, the case went to trial. The prosecution had not only showed the evidence, but explained that Liz was diabolical.
Yes.
Not only has she killed Cari, but with all her text messages and emails, she allowed Cari's friends and family to hold on to hope that it was just a matter of time before she was coming home.
Yeah. And she like harassed someone that she was supposed to have like cared for, and she went to extreme lengths to hurt herself and innocent animals.
All for a lie.
Whoa. Diabolical is right. That is sickening.
Exactly. The pain and suffering she caused so many people was unreal. Through all the evidence and testimony through the trial, Liz seemed completely unfazed, never showing one shred of emotion. In a later interview with Liz's attorney that took place after the trial, he was even shocked with her cruel acts.
Yeah.
You know, when you hear attorneys talk about their clients, a lot of times it's like defend,
Yeah.
even after the fact. But he
was shocked.
He was shocked at the cruelty, for sure.
Who wouldn't be, right?
Exactly. The only motive behind her crime was keeping Dave Kroupa for herself. She wanted him, and she would win at any cost. She removed Cari from his life, and she was trying to have Amy arrested.
Right.
She was a selfish individual with no regard for the people she hurt.
Yeah.
The judge found Liz guilty. She was sentenced to life in prison. Since 2017, Liz has been housed at the Nebraska Correctional Center. Liz is claiming the real serial killer is still out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, liar.
No one believes you.
I do have to say, though, the police and detective work in this case, stand up, bang on.
Oh my
impressed. God. Like, there's times where I'm like, oh, they failed that person. But this one, no. They got justice.
Yes, they went above and beyond. The amount of man hours put into this case.
Yeah.
Not even like the second half, but to just have it reopened and to actually get to the point where they're like, okay, I think she's missing. The amount of man hours just up until that point was unreal.
Out of the goodness of their heart. It was a cold case, you know. They requested to have it reopened. And I find it comical that the jealousy she had hurt so many people, yet it was the exact thing that sealed her fate. Because the cops used it against her.
Exactly.
So happy about
Joke's
that.
on you, Liz.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the one documentary, they kept talking about how Liz just thought she was smarter than everyone else. Like,
true.
How interesting is it that she actually thought that her lies and like how she set up those emails coming from Amy, she thought that the police were actually
gonna believe it.
Like,
why would she commit a crime that heinous to you? Okay, like, get real.
I know. So either way, Liz is in jail for the rest of her life, and she freaking deserves it.
And she freaking deserves it, Beck.
Yes.
Well, I loved this case. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks for listening, Beth.